Time. Time doesn't always have a great deal of meaning in games. Often changes are cosmetic, whittling down to simple weather effects or the changing colour of the sky. Sometimes things go a bit further, and you may even get an army of monsters or an evolving environment. But in this war of mine, time is both your biggest ally and your greatest enemy. Who are the little ones? Exactly who you think they are, and that adds a whole other dynamic to this already tense, volatile world, because you're no longer leaving a grown man or woman guarding your shelter, defending it against would-be attackers while you're out scavenging for supplies. You're leaving a small, vulnerable child who's absolutely petrified living in this warped world, sleeping on their lonesome. A little girl who simply wants to play with her friends. There's more of an emphasis on the psychological in this new console release. Now you need to make time to play with the kid to keep their morale up, listen to their silly stories, give them a hug, offer them food, bring them back gifts, even play rock, paper, scissors. The little one is also extremely limited in what they can do. For instance, he or she can only build their own toys, but they're not allowed to sift through the rubble, go out and scavenge, or even stand guard. They do have the play option available to them around the shelter though, so they can bounce a ball against the wall, hop around in hopscotch, or even just soar on a swing if one has been built. The juggling act of being the provider, as well as the guardian and the entertainer, is as difficult as it sounds. Some sacrifices will invariably have to be made, and with that, your survival is as much dependent on luck as much as it is solid preparation. But you won't look at it as a chore. In fact, they challenge you not to feel some form of paternal instinct kick in when your little one rushes towards you when returning from another night of scavenging, practically in tears because they've missed you that much and they never want you to leave again. For a moment, you'll forget about the bleak outdoors, the harsh conditions, and the constant threat of raiders, something the original release struggled to tear you away from at any point. So you begin with the bare bones of a base, just a solitary chair, no beds, radio or books, barely any food. Clearly it's not safe, and your shelter will need your due diligence. This war of mine tasks you with creating the most secure haven possible and stocking it up with nourishment, warmth and other amenities to help your survivors make it through the days, weeks, even months ahead. You'll need to build heaters to stave off the chilly winter months, cook stews on a hob, construct a bed and armchair to rest, and fortify the outside so raiders can't break in to get at any of it. If you're feeling particularly charitable, you could even decide to help out neighbours or trade with strangers when they recognise how secure your living arrangements are. But in my case, the case of Irina and her little niece Nydia, you'll need to take a 50-year-old gardener out into a guarded fortress full of armed guards and find the resources necessary to survive. Knowing you're sharing the same space with someone faster and stronger with a loaded gun is one thing, but realising that going back with nothing at all is not an option, that's something else entirely. And in this war of mine there is always the risk of getting injured. People are incredibly vulnerable. They can even die from their injuries. Perhaps the scariest realisation of all is that without you, that child has got no hope for survival. But despite the horrors that lie in wait, this war of mine remains utterly compelling and strangely addictive. Your morbid curiosity will not allow you to stop, even if you wanted to. This is a great addition to the PS library. It's a solid title, there's a lot of depth and replayability, with the original survivor mode featuring Katia, Pavle and Bruno, and there's even the option to craft your own story with different characters and locations. However, there are some issues, notably the game's font size. Even on my 47-inch Sony Full HD TV, I had to literally put my nose to the screen to read about my character's needs and diary entries. It's incredibly inconsistent though, because there are other font sizes in the game which are perfectly legible and almost too big. Some of the controls are also a little clunky, particularly when you want your characters to climb to a higher ledge or have them move down to a lower floor. It's not always responsive and your character won't always go the way you want them to. What about the future expansion and development for this war of mine? Well, the developers have already stated that Little One's expansion won't be out for PC or mobile anytime soon, though it is likely to arrive at some point. What they have said, however, is they want to focus on console stability and improving the experience, so we can expect further patches in the coming weeks and hopefully one to help fix the game's horrific font size. We would also love to see new characters added over time for the scenario editor, new places as well as other effects that will keep the game replayable for months to come. The good stuff, Adding children into the game adds a whole other level of tension and heartbreak that makes the experience even more compelling. It's thought-provoking and in-depth, and the scenario editor adds a ton of replayability. The not so good stuff: the font size, as I said, is horrendously small, and controls can sometimes be unresponsive and could use further stability fixes. All in all though, this War of Mine, the Little Ones, is at times both sentimental and savage, but it's always a fascinating exploration of the ultimate worst case scenario. It's a thought-provoking and heart-rendering experience that is matched with surprisingly in-depth, tactical and engaging gameplay every step of the way. The game is available to download right now. I've been Ray Wilmot, this is Expansive. Thanks for watching. I'm going to leave you a bit more footage from the game. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.